So now that you've entered your data, now comes the moment of truth, at least if you have loops. I'm going to show you how to go through and check to see if you have any errors in your loops or blunders in your loops. So I've entered my data for that first survey. I'm going to click on or open the cave file. Oops, there we go. Open the cave file, which is my super cave. It's all open and everything. And then we're going to go to either, let's see, is it view? Find blunders, or over here I can click this little red button that says find blunders. So I'll click that. It opens up the locate blunders dialog box, and now I need to compile the data. So I'm going to click compile, and we'll hit process. And it looks like I had one loop in there, and that loop is bad. So it is off. The absolute error is 13 feet, which is pretty significant because it's a relatively small loop. So we need to figure out what in the world went wrong there, what happened. And sometimes you can figure that out by looking at the numbers. Other times, unfortunately, you just have to go back to the cave and figure out what went wrong by rechecking those shots. So it's showing me right here that the closing shot is from A6 to A3D. There are 7 shots in the loop. And then it gives me some deviation from predicted where theoretically it should end up, but it's deviated by these amounts. And then there's the absolute error, and the quality is bad. So I can click on this one, and I can go to analyze the loop. It's going to take me into these other tabs up here. So I can do that, and it gives me some suggestions, most likely blunders or best fixes. So here, A3C to A3D is the #1 recommendation. It says to change the inclination by 26.1 degrees, and that would result in a new error of 1.34 feet. There's the standard deviation and some other information about that. And I don't think there's a whole lot. Let's see, let's click that. Yep, that's it. It also shows me up here the shots that exist in the loop that I can look at. So it's got, let's see, all these shots, A5 to A6, A6 to A3D. So this is listing all of the shots that make up the loop. And then I can come over here to the multi-loop intersects. I have no idea what this is. I need to learn more about that. And then bad tie-ins. So there's a bunch of information here you can explore. I'm going to go over here, and it says that there's an issue with inclination on A3C to A3D. So I'm going to take a look at that. Let's see, where was it? Back over here. I can click on to edit survey. It's going to open the survey box. And we'll go in here. And let's see. What was that again? A3C to A3D. A3C to A3D. Let's take a look at this inclination. Oh, wow, look at that. The inclination, the foresight is 6, but then it's 60. It would appear to me that most likely what happened is a decimal point went in the wrong place. So I'm going to change this to from -60 to -6. Because it says I need to adjust. So it could either be that this needs to be 60 and plus 60, or this needs to be just -6. So let's fix that so it's -6. Then we will save this current file. Oh, why is it doing that? Okay, so apparently what happened is I had 2 of the cave editors open, and that was where it was having a conflict. So I'm going to go back in now. So we double clicked on that. We're going to open the survey. We're going to go down, change -60 to -6. And oh, you know what? Look, before I even made that correction, I should have saw this -60 down here below in the backside errors. It was off by 54 degrees. If I would have fixed it before, I wouldn't have had that problem. But actually, I'm just doing that on purpose so I can show you how this works. So let's change that to -6. Now there's no errors. So let's save that, close that, And we will go back in here to our loops. We'll compile it. And bam, there we go. It took care of it. So now we're off by 1.4 feet. The quality is good because 1.4 feet off on a 7-shot loop is pretty darn good, especially when you're using Sunto instruments and tape. So now our loop is pretty darn good. So we can now be assured that the majority of our data, hopefully, is pretty decent with the loop in there. If you had no loop, then you can't really use this tool, and you're not really going to know for certain. So loops are really great in that they help you to decide whether or not there are errors in your data. So I've fixed that. And now in the next video, we can go on to taking a look at our data now that we know that it's good. We'll take a look at statistics, and we'll process and view our cave.